Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the Gamut Network. This is a first on top of a first, in that Chris, our guest today, was the very first interview we did for the Gamut Network. So, this is so exciting that we are bringing him back for a second interview because he has some very exciting news to share. But before we get into that news, I do want to just start to refresh everybody about Chris's story because it certainly always needs to be discussed because it's so great and he's so great. And he's a real friend of both Gamut Management and Runway of Dreams. So, Chris, how are you? Love having you back on the show.
I'm doing great, and a lot has changed since I first came on, but I'm excited to be back.
Me too. So just give us just a quick history on Chris Rudin, and then we're eventually going to get to what we want to talk about today, which is your very exciting news.
Awesome. I am a professional keynote speaker, so I travel around the country when I can and speak. Now it's all Zoom, but I was born with a limb difference and had the majority of my hand amputated. I now have a prosthetic arm, but I struggled my whole life with body image issues and a lot of stuff people go through. And it took me 17 years to stop hiding my disability. And now I help people be as authentic and impactful as possible through the struggles that I've gone through.
I love that. And I'm sure we're going to highlight this in a moment, but was there a moment when you were 17 that you turned it around, that you said, you know what, I'm done hiding?
There was a few different moments, but talking with my parents, seeing my mom be upset about me, talking about me being made fun of, meeting other, even kids in the space who grabbed the hand that I was hiding and said, it's okay, you don't have to hide. Like, just to see that raw level of authenticity, something that I've always wanted but never really worked for. Those moments added up to the final straw of, I need to do this, I need to pull the trigger, I need to jump in the deep end. And that discomfort paid off in full.
I love it. Now, I would imagine that this was all part of the journey to reveal really what we're going to talk about today. And that is the launch of your new book, The Upper Hand. Just give us a little bit on the kind of the road to get to where you are today in terms of saying, you know what, I think I need to share this with the world and I think it would benefit so many others to put this into a book. Tell us a little bit about how that happened.
I truly believe everyone has a story, and I'm going to go as far to say as everyone has the same story. We went through some hard stuff. We got over some hard stuff. There's more hard stuff coming. That's everyone's general story,
Yeah.
But it's not the story that really matters as much as the message that comes from it and the message that you derive from it. So I've always wanted to write a book. I just never knew what. I didn't want it to be like an autobiography. I didn't really know, but I had always been working on it in my notes. It just got swallowed up, and I'd been working on it for years. And I finally pulled the trigger during COVID, and I'm like, you know what? This is the perfect time to really focus on this. Instead of just talking about my story, I wanted to talk about what people get from my story or other people's stories who have differences, which is everyone. Learning to self-communicate, learning to leverage limitations, and learning to increase your quality of life through the way you think. I can't change my disability or my diabetes or any struggle. I can't change anyone's struggle through positive thinking. But what I can do is put people in a better position to make better decisions and thoughts so that we don't make it worse and we can get through the hardest times just by negotiating what we think and making better behaviors and actions from that.
I love that. And so was it just one day you said, you know what, I'm done. I'm done thinking about it, saying I should. Did you just literally sit down and put pen to paper or start typing?
Honestly, there is another book. An author reached out to me and he's like, I wrote this book. I'd love for you to read it. I read it and it was incredible. It's called Everyday Legacy. And he was like, I'd love for you to be the feature quote on my book. I was like, oh, what? That's crazy. I was kind of writing a book. He's like, really? Tell me about it. I told him. He's like, oh, so what are you doing? And he kind of pushed me. I'm like, he's like, so you already have a majority of it. Why don't you just pull the trigger? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, stop doing that.
I love that.
Just do it.
Who is
And
the
it was
author?
that.
We need to give him a little props because
Cody Schuin, Everyday Legacy. He basically teaches like how to live your life with legacy before you die, not after you die. So that really inspired me to be like, you know what, you're right. And that's what I love about having a book that I truly feel is impactful. I want it to have that effect. I want it to actually inspire change, not at a massive level, but change in a thought process, change that creates a behavior that could create a new world. And that's what I feel like I've done with my book, The Upper Hand. And I'm so proud of it. I'm so excited. I'm so nervous, but it's so cool to, like, honestly, like, seeing this, I'm like, it's real now. It's a thing. And it's not just my story or my message, but it's the embodiment of the struggles that I face, not only in my life, but in other people's lives that I've seen through traveling the world, speaking and doing all these things. And it's so exciting to be able to give someone something that when I leave stage, they can take with them.
I love that. Couple of things. Number, what was the quote that he asked for you to put on to his book?
So he basically said, if you read your book, if you read my book and you like anything, just write what you like and I'll take something from it. And I'm paraphrasing, but what I wrote on the quote is basically the concept in his book are life-changing in the sense of living with legacy. And as soon as I said that to him, I'm like, you know what? I have so many concepts like that I've helped so many people, like thousands of people, and people like book me for this. Like this is my job. But I feel like I wasn't doing my job by not writing this. I feel like it's everyone's job to tell their story. We tend to think, oh, my story is not important enough, or everyone has this. There's tons of people with limb differences. There's tons of people blank, blank, blank like me. But there isn't. There is no one like you because you are the only you. And it's not just what you went through, but your perspective of what you went through that matters, because that perspective might have helped 17-year-old me when I hated myself, when I hated the way I look, when I thought I was a monster because of the disability, the same disability that has now pushed me forward to help thousands of people, I felt like held me back. And the only thing that changed was my ability to communicate with myself. We talk about how communication is so important, relationships and all these things, but that's step 2, because self-communication is first, but we skip that. And that's what my book aims to do.
Amazing. That is, there were so many pieces of what you just said that I want to underline, but I think the one I'm going to pull out the most is that kind of rethinking about disability holding you back versus pushing you forward. And I think that's a huge pivot and change in kind of that thought process, which truthfully has always been my issue with disability, because already that makes it seem like it's a negative. And in this moment, in this stage of your life, it is such an ability. It opened you up, and it opened up this piece of literature for the world to, no matter if you have a disability or not, there are pearls in this book that can benefit everybody.
Realistically, as you're saying this too, I'm like, why is it called disability and not diffability? Like it should be different ability, to be honest.
Let's do it.
Like that. Can we trademark that real quick? Can we trademark that? And one of my big struggles with writing this book, and in the way I speak, I'm not like a positivity hippie where I'm just like, nothing is wrong. I have a disability. I have a disease. You're never going to take that away from me, because I truly do have that. No amount of positive thinking will take away my conditions. But I'm not looking to take away my conditions. I'm looking to improve the way I perceive life. That's what I'm looking to improve. So it's not an ableist form of your struggles don't count, or your struggles don't matter, or your struggles aren't what you think they are, because they are. They really are. But if we can improve quality of life in another area and learn to look at, does the rose bush have thorns, or does a thorn bush have roses?
Oh my gosh.
That's what we need to look at.
Just come from? Did you just?
That comes from my book. That is one of the many quotes in my book, and
wow.
I'm very proud of that. So it's the
I feel like I'm having an Oprah moment, because I listen religiously to her Super Soul Conversations, and as she would say, retweet. I think that is such a I think that's such a retweet. It is so profound.
It's very true. And that perspective shift, I babbled with for a long time because I'm like, well, it's not a rose bush, it's not a thorn bush. I'm like, well, technically, life is whatever you choose to make it. You know, there are people with nothing who feel like they have everything, and people who have everything and feel like they have nothing. There are people who appreciate, have gratitude. Gratitude doesn't solve disease, but gratitude is the antidote for greed. Gratitude is the antidote for greed, not just financially, but health wise. How many times did I want to not be diabetic, to not be disabled? How many times was I greedy for what I considered health until I realized the greed that I had was for a life that I didn't? The greed that I had could be solved by having gratitude. It's not the disability I'm looking to solve, it's the relationship I had with myself. And that's why this book is so important to me, because I made this book for the younger me that never had this direction. And that's why I'm so proud of it.
And I do want to just highlight that it's the younger you, but it's really the younger anyone, right? This
When I say younger, it's not
so
age. Yeah, I don't
universal.
mean younger by age. Younger is not age. Younger is in development of mentality. You can be 50 years old and be young in your development of the mentality that you need to have the quality of life that you have. That's why I don't like to position people to just be a certain age to receive a message, because hearing a message and comprehending a message are very different. Comprehending a message and applying a message are very different. There are stages to this. And for so long, I heard everything but listened to nothing. And then I listened to everything, but I did nothing. So until you're willing to walk yourself through those stages, it's very hard to make a change, especially when you have to accept that change might not be physical.
Wow. Boy, oh boy, I cannot wait to read it. Can you do me a favor? Would you mind reading the back of the book to get everybody even more excited?
Absolutely. In life, we all face struggles and we all handle these struggles differently. This book will help you overcome the adversities you currently face and those you haven't faced yet by giving you the tools you need to get the upper hand over yourself.
Beautiful.
The goal is not to get the upper hand over anyone else but yourself. My goal is to help people internalize the things that they can focus on, put less responsibility on other people and more responsibility in ourselves to be able to deal with everything that life throws our way. You know, there's no such thing as should be or supposed to be in life. We're not supposed to live a certain way or supposed to have certain things. There's just what is and what we make of what is and the story we tell ourselves. I'm just trying to help people tell a better story.
Oh, you're doing it. You're not trying, you're doing. Where can people find the book, please?
This book drops April 4th, and it will be
nation. Need a first interview?
Yes, you're my absolute first interview. I have not even posted about this yet.
Yes.
I'm so terrified about that. But this book drops April 4th. There is pre-sale right now on Amazon through my publisher, which I'll send you a link to that. Okay. I think I'm going to make my first official post March next week, which is terrifying. But yes, it will be nationwide. And I am just so thrilled to have finally committed to something that I truly believe in, you know.
We're so proud of you. I cannot wait. I can't wait for the first email that you get from a reader that's going to say, thank you. You changed my life. You're being so gracious and sharing your story and being so vulnerable changed my life. So will you text me when that happens? Because I
100% will. I will specifically send it to you. And just to let everyone know, I wrote like a very short foreword, and it says, to my fellow type 1 diabetics, limb different people, amputees, and anyone who lives with struggles that they have never asked for.
Beautiful.
This is for anyone who went through anything and you made it, and you will continue to make it. And I hope to be a part of your journey as well.
Amazing. So incredible. I just have so enjoyed kind of being a fly on the wall of your life, and just to see where it has taken you, and there's so much more to come. Actually, if I may brag, yes. Chris is going to be kind of the face of our Runway of Dreams show coming up on March 9th with the global premiere on March 11th. And we're very specific actually about choosing you to kind of be the face of the show and to represent, and it's really particular because of everything that you just talked about, but really rebranding who people with disabilities are, and you really embody that, and not again from the disability or disease or difference perspective, just from being a human. And you really, really embody that. And we feel so grateful and lucky to have you as kind of our I really don't love poster child. I'd like to rebrand that too. Our face of the show. And we're just so incredibly proud of the book that you have written, The Upper Hand. And it has been such an amazing honor to not only represent you through Gamut Management, but to also be your friend.
I have to say, you said a fly on the wall in my career, but you've been much more than that. You give me my first opportunity to model my lack of confidence, and it took my confidence to a new level. From working with you the first time, showing my hand, being able to be on stage and represent a brand, that I've done so many paid modeling gigs where companies believe in me now. You know, I'm getting gigs, I'm doing these things and being recognized by major level brands. I'm breaking stereotypes of like a guy with tattoos who doesn't like sports, you know. I can have a different body type. Like, I'm not the skinny surfer guy, but also like I do have a disability, but it looks cool, but it only looks cool because I believe it looks cool now, you know? And the way I wear my confidence is so different. And that first show I ever did in Vegas between you and Zappos Adaptive, like that really changed my life. And now there's like, it's an opportunity to get someone else to that level. So it's so cool that I'm the face of it, but I'm so much more proud of the people that are coming and the people that will be the face of it and the people that will get that experience that I had. So I'm just excited to be a part of it.
Well, I'm humbled and grateful and honored, and I just can't wait to see when this drops, the impact that you are going to have. So tell us again, please, where they can find it, when it drops, and the pre-order starts when?
Pre-order starts pretty much now
Okay.
through my publisher on Amazon, which I'll post a link, but it will all be available on chrisrudin.com. I will be posting about it on my Instagram at chrisrudin, and I will post more information the first and second week of March, but it will be available nationwide. So please be on the lookout for that. And if there's anything I can do to help, whether you want to talk about something in the book, write me anytime.
Amazing. I am so excited. I can't wait for the drop. I can't wait to see you on the runway. I'm so grateful. Thank you for joining us again. Thank you for being our first interview and just being able to share the progress that you have made in a very short amount of time.
I appreciate it again. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. If you would like to be on the Gamut Network, please email us at talent@gamutmanagement.com to tell us why you'd be a great guest. Please also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Gamut Network, as well as follow us on social media at Gamut Management. Thank you again. Bye.